Good evening everyone, this is RedDrama series at Redbunker Studios to tell you about another weird story coming from the dark side of the music industry. This time from the dark side of pop music. Weird is the right word to start from. In fact, we'll talk about a guy, a singer that was so famous and talented to be considered as the king of pop. One of the best-selling artists of all time, but also well known to be so weirdo to be nicknamed 𝐌𝐈𝐂𝐂𝐀𝐄𝐋. Exactly, because this is the story of the strangest character from the pop music world, Michael Jackson. We'd like to start the story by splitting his identity in two views. From one side, we have a black little kid, his name is Joseph Jackson, Michael Joseph Jackson. 8 of 10 children from a working-class African-American family living in Gary, Indiana, an industrial suburb just near Chicago. His father, Joe, a weird guy too, is an employee to a steel company, but he also has a passion for music and plays guitar with a local rhythm and blues band, the Falcons. Now, it's not the fact that he plays guitar to make him weird, of course not. Instead, his ideas on how to educate and raise children. He used to whip and punish his sons over something bad they do, so they will remember, like that time when he held his son Michael upside down by one leg and unleashing a barrage of blows on his son's back and buttocks. Or literally when he climbed into Michael and brother's room while sleeping through the bedroom window, wearing a fight mask, screaming and shouting, but the intention was just to teach them to not leave the window open when they went to sleep. In today's standards, this routine of beating and humiliation to discipline kids can be classified as children abuse or domestic violence. It may end up by a social worker removing the custody of his children, because you can't grow up without a mental disorder in such a way. But remember, we are in the 60s, and that's the way to let you stay out of troubles or drugs. Aside this vocation of disciplining like a SS Nazi commander, Mr. Joseph Walter Jackson, called Joe, as said, has a passion for music, like his wife Catherine, which is a country western fan, and she used to play the clarinet and the piano, and sings in a local church, so music naturally runs in the Jacksons' family blood. In fact, from the eldest of their boys to the youngest, all can sing or play a musical instrument. So in 1964, Joe puts together 5 of them and formed a band firstly called the Jackson Brothers. There's Michael also in the band, but at 5 years old, nobody knew his singing talent, so he was in the rhythm section playing congas. Then, only when Catherine noticed Michael singing along to the radio while dancing to the rhythm, she tried to tell Joe of Michael's talent. But he was wary about placing a 5-year-old kid leading his new kinda famous band, so things remained still. In spite of that, little Michael starts to perform singing on stage at several school recitals, without his father's knowledge. But you know, it's hard to get unnoticed at Christmas recitals, when all the parents claps at your son telling you, hey, your son is cool. So cool that at only 7 years old, he became one of the 2 lead vocal together with his brother Jermaine of the Jackson Brothers, which soon after they changed to the Jackson 5. The Jackson 5 starts rocking just like a rocker towards the moon. They win several talent shows and contests. Their first single, Big Boy, is the key to let them sign a deal with Motown Records, a top record label to aspire from at that time, especially for R&B and soul artists that want to be a part of the Motown sound style. They topped the Billboard Hot 100 several times with songs like I Want You Back and I'll Be There, that also displaced the Beatles song Let It Be. They were the first band in history to put in a row their first 4 singles on Billboard #1 chart. As the Jackson 5 become fairly famous, it starts to be evident that between Marlon, Jackie, Tito and Jermaine, the real talent is Michael. He's the one who stands out by his dancing style and his gentle, fine but powerful voice. Time goes by, and through ups and downs, the band leaves the Motown Records for royalty disagreement. They were only earning 2.8%, losing Jermaine, who instead remains with Motown following his marriage with the boss's daughter. They sign with CBS Records and then with Epic Records, changing again the name to the Jacksons. Their songs now failed to generate the sales they had enjoyed at Motown, but later things went well, with singles like Shake Your Body with over 2 million copies sold. So the plot for the Jacksons goes like this, with highs and lows till early 80s. But the icing on the cake is still Michael, that once in a while he records some solo albums and puts his singles on charts. Well, the first solo album that has no influences regarding his brothers and the old Motown sound is Off the Wall, which is his 5th overall solo album, produced by his friend Quincy Jones, obviously supervised by his father, like a shadow, always behind his steps as we'll see. and released by Epic Records in 1979. This album also established him as a top-class solo performer. The new sound works well. The album sells over 20 million copies worldwide. He makes Quincy Jones the most powerful record producer. He reaches the highest royalty rate in the music industry by 37% of wholesale album profit and places his single Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, hitting first on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart. That also lets him win his first solo Grammy. I mean, with that numbers, you could happily close your career even if you're only 21 years old. But that's not the case. For him, music is energy and singing is vitality. And now also dancing is becoming his strength, his trademark. He's putting lots of effort on making choreographies and discovering new dancing moves. He wants them to be unique and hard, so hard that one day, during a complex dance routine, he fell off, hitting his face and breaking his nose. For Michael, actually this is not a tragedy, but an opportunity. An opportunity to change the future he has come to detest, thanks to merciless teasing when he was a kid, often from his father and cousins, taunting him by giving him the nickname Big Nose. So he goes under the knife. The rhinoplasty was not a complete success, which leaves Michael still complaining of breathing difficulties, though he schedules a second surgery with Dr. Stephen Hofflin, skilled and respected plastic surgeon, and this time things go well. But for Michael, this way of shaping and modify the body with surgery and look more pleasant, well, this thing remains fixed in his mind. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough says the chorus of his first solo album single. In fact, Michael doesn't get enough. He still doesn't get enough over his musical career and success. He thinks that his music should be more aggressive, and now he's determined to exceed expectation with his next release. Meanwhile, he does a reunion with the Jackson 5 and some projects with other artists, like one in particular, a singular guy like him, Freddie Mercury, where things don't go as planned. Their relationship soured and their album was never finished due to bizarre constraints of the two stars. Because Michael bothered Freddie on keep bringing a llama into the recording studio, while Freddie upsets Jackson by his constant drug use. I let you guys imagine what was going on here between these two guys. You know, it's funny. We'll never get to hear possibly the greatest musical collaboration in human history because of a damn llama. But don't get us wrong, we still love llamas. Anyway, in 1982, Michael Jackson releases his new album, and yes, now it's not anymore the solo album from the guy of the Jackson 5. Now it's Michael Jackson's new album, and it's called Thriller. From this album, we can choose any song. Billie Jean, Beat It, Baby Be Mine, it doesn't matter. We didn't even waste time to search on what are the singles, cause all the songs reached the top 10 on the Billboard Hot charts. The album destroys all the records in the music industry. It remains on the charts for 387 weeks, with 37 on the first place. Some talk about 110 million sales. In short, the best-selling album ever. There's more. The video of the song that named the album Thriller is not the classic short music video. It is rather a mini-movie directed by a master of horror genre, John Landis, that totally changes the standards of making music clips. Because this is Michael Jackson, not only a singer that makes albums, but an artist that does concept albums related on a theme. A story which then evolves in short movie, and then the making of that short movie, and then the tour related, the dancing choreographies for the tour, and so many other things that turns Michael Jackson into a billionaire industry. His celebrity doesn't stop, and as said, turns Michael himself and what he does into an industry. From Thriller follow many other albums, which they also become pieces of history, like Bad and Dangerous that affirms Michael into the Michael that we all know. The one of We Are the World, the song recorded in presence of all the world music stars reunited for Africa, or the one photographed in front of the White House with the USA President Ronald Reagan and his First Lady Nancy, awarding him for his work in order to sensitize people against drinking and driving. Dressed in his unique way, with a military look-like jacket with a yellow sash, a pair of black Ray-Ban aviator and white spats. Just too perfect, too wonderful and amazing and available life. But now this is not the Michael we want to talk anymore. We want to talk about the other side of the identity, the weird one that we spoke before. This side has some remarkable aspects. We find a skinny and slouching figure with pale skin that slides backwards on a stage with lightness, like he's walking on the moon, without gravity, while seemingly walking forwards, that sings a song called Billie Jean. This guy that quickly pull up his trousers to perform a tiptoe stand has already influenced a big part of music genre such as dance, funky and pop. We are in September 2001 and this weird guy is celebrating his 30th year of solo career at the Madison Square Garden. So now you're thinking, but there's nothing weird here. Well, not exactly, because when this man takes off his black hat, there's Michael Jackson in a way totally different from that 14-year-old kid that we used to see. A weird Michael with a nose that points so upwards and so thinner that almost seems disfigured. His lips so sharp that look like the ones of Joker, the character starred by Jack Nicholson, and his pale white skin. These bizarre transformations, for instance, make him become really weird. This obsession for surgery circa starts when he was involved in his second accident in 1984. He was filming for a Pepsi commercial, and there were planned and elaborate scenes with fireworks, lights, and moving objects on stage. Something goes wrong, some faulty pyrotechnics fires near Michael, and his hair caught on fire. Nothing really serious, at least for him, but not for the insurance company, that with an excess of second-degree burn to Michael's scalp, they had to give him $1.5 million indemnity that Michael donates to a medical center, subsequently renamed Michael Jackson Burn Center in his honor. However, after the accident and all the pain to recovery, he undergoes through a third rhinoplasty, then a fourth up to a sixth rhinoplasty surgery. Then he starts with dermal injection, with steroids to reduce scar tissue after surgery that also procures him a side effect, the reduction of skin thickness. That's why his nose is looking so weird, like it was about to fall off. He changes his chin with a deep cleft, a subtle reduction of both upper and lower lips, facial fillers, permanent makeup, skin lightening creams, lustrous wigs, and there that we have Wacko Jacko, that he seems coming from another planet, just like that movie, Men in Black. And it's funny because he was a part of the cast. From there, many other rumors starts to spread around his persona. Michael Jackson is sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber, Michael Jackson breathes only 100% pure oxygen at home, Michael always wears hats, sunglasses and umbrellas because his skin is sensitive to sunlight, like vampires. He has lupus, vitiligo, he suffers from anorexia, depression, he's diagnosed as schizophrenic, he often wears gloves and surgical masks to not get noticed or because he's germaphobe. All these supposedly health issues are like bread and butter for tabloid press because talking about the pop star Michael Jackson brings easy money. Nevertheless, the fact that he's weird is out of question. Jackson is famous and has money, lots of money, in every way to make his dreams come true, his inspiration, just like a child would do. As a matter of fact, in his mind he still remains a boy who never grew up, like that character of that novel Peter Pan, is to recreate that fantasy place of the novel, where every dream comes true, called Neverland. So he slams on the table around $30 million and acquires 2,700 acres ranch in Santines Valley, California, where he builds up his sort of fantasy island exactly called Neverland with castles, amusement parks, artistic flourishing garden, roller coasters, obviously pirate ships, statues, trains and petting zoo with llamas as we can recall. Among all these things, sure cannot lack a dose of weird stuff, for example child mannequins posed in strange ways all around the ranch. Kissing door knockers designed to look like two boys kissing. The original scissor hands from the character starred by Johnny Depp of the Tim Burton's movie. That was pretty wacky too, wasn't it? And there were no clocks anywhere, so it was never bedtime. But no bedtime for who? For kids obviously. Because Neverland was often open for kids and Michael Jackson loved kids. Okay, let's be clear now. In this episode, we won't go through any allegation about Michael's relation with the children. This other story will be focused on another video soon. Now we just point out facts really happened. So Michael would often invite 10 to 12-year-old children from several schools around or terminally ill children from charitable organizations to come to the ranch, have lunch or dinner, go on rides, visit the zoo or see movies. Michael said a number of times, no one pays for anything in Neverland, all it's free. He just enjoyed being with kids because that purity, that honesty where they don't judge him, they just make him feel blessed. He thinks that being with children brings out the child that lives in everybody because kids just want to be friends. And mostly, he needs that feeling to compensate for the loss of his childhood that he never got to enjoy. He never got to enjoy childlike things because of his busy young career as musician, which he had to work and work always surrounded by adults. But the fact that in 1994, Jackson settled out a case of child sexual abuse for $25 million out of court, where prosecutors then dropped the case after the boy obviously declined to cooperate. And in 2003, Michael Jackson, while in Vegas, is reached by charges related of 7 counts of child abuse and 2 counts of providing an intoxication to a minor. These are real facts. Another bad shot on him was also his sister, LaToya Jackson, with her witness. She doesn't help him at all when she claimed, yes, Michael Jackson is a pedophile. That was truly a bad shot for Michael's image, of course. However, Michael's fans are a lot. From all the sales, statistically, he has around 5 billion fans over the world, and most of them, they would do anything for him. You can see people crying everywhere during his concerts, or simply when they manage to meet him on the streets, skipping the security in a way or another, just for a hug, remaining shocked and trembling on their knees just after. As he is so humble with them, fans then forgive him for all. Especially when in 2005, the verdict of minor sexual abuse found him not guilty from all the charges. They forgive him as well for the 2 argued weddings, the one with Elvis Presley's daughter that for the fans is the wedding of the century, where instead Michael proposed to her over the phone and divorced a year later. This move supposedly was just to deflect Jackson's sexual abuse allegations. And the one with his nursing assistant Debbie Rowe, who gave him 2 children, alleging by tabloids that their relationship was for interest purpose. In fact, they never had sex, as she affirmed later. Just like the 3rd son, this time publicly declared that he had with artificial insemination. Fans again absolved him when he dangerously dangled with one hand over a hotel balcony his child at 8 months old. For fans, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he looks so weird and he does this kind of weird stuff, because he's still Michael Jackson, one of the fewest artists in the music industry to donate over $400 million to charity, and simply the greatest world-famous pop star that ever existed.